Have you ever hid inside your clothes because you're having a fat day? I'm in my gym right now because it's cold. I put on the biggest coat I could find. But it's interesting because when I wear this coat, I've had lots of different comments. One guy said to me, you look like you're wearing a sleeping bag. Somebody else said to me, I look like I'm wearing a fat suit because it's so big and it's so bulky. Very easy to hide inside this coat. But isn't it interesting, and it's an observation from an old lady who's been an exercise professional all of my life, that one, we tend to hide inside our clothes. The question I always ask my clients, do you love your body naked in front of the mirror in the bright sunshine or in a bright light? Not with the right angles, the right photo shopping, the right filters on your phone, but do you actually love the way your body looks naked? I think that's a really important question. And then this extra chubbiness that we carry as humans between our skin and our muscle, it's called subcutaneous fat, the soft flabby stuff, it doesn't weigh very much. And the reason I share that is most people are obsessed with weight. I want to lose weight. It's the number one health challenge in the world. It's the number one thing that people talk about when they go to the gym. I want to lose weight. I have a goal weight. I want to weigh a certain weight. Well, the challenge that I always have with that particular statement is what weight? Your muscles are heavy, they have to be, because the wasted away muscles means that you have a slow metabolism, you have to eat less. Wasted away bones you want them to be heavy, because if they're wasting away, you've got osteoporosis, which is bone thinning disease, which is a horrible debilitating disease which puts you in a wheelchair. So you don't want thin, light bones. You don't want to be dehydrated, and water's very, very heavy. Just ask any elite athlete that has to make weight for boxing, or for if they're a horse jockey, or they're some kind of UFC or martial artist and they've got to make weight. They hate doing that because it makes them feel terrible. Being dehydrated, you don't feel good. But if you are dehydrated and you've got light muscle, or you've lost a lot of muscle and you've lost bone mineral density, you will weigh less on the scales. So why are we so obsessed with that? And I want to ask another question. If somebody's goal weight is 80 kilos or 60 kilos or 55 kilos, what then? So you've reached the goal weight, you've got the number on the scale. What if you don't like the way your body looks in the mirror? And that's a question I always ask. Stand naked in front of the mirror with bright lights, or even better, bright sunlight, and then tell me how you feel about your body. You might be the right weight, you might have the ideal even body fat percentage, but if you don't like what you see in the mirror naked, then what's the point? The reverse of that, if you love what you see in the mirror and you love the way your body feels to touch, but you're the wrong weight on the scale, and that's screwed up a lot of people's headspaces because they love what they see in the mirror, but somebody tells them you have to weigh this or you have to have this certain body fat percentage. So they go into this mental health state of, I'm not right, I'm not good enough, I don't have the right body weight, I don't have the right body fat percentage. And I don't want people to live like that. I would love people to stop hiding in their clothes, and I always ask that question, because underneath your coat, if it's now, because I'm in the middle of winter or getting towards the middle of winter, if somebody said to me, Rowie, do you want to go on an island holiday? Do you want to go somewhere where it's hot, where I'm going to wear shorts or sing a little bikini? I want to be able to say, yes, I can go right now. Not have to get into shape for a summer holiday. I want to be in great shape every day, all of my life. I don't want to be in shape for an event. I don't want to be in shape for a competition. And notice I'm not using weight. I don't know how much I weigh. I don't care how much I weigh. One time in my life I was weighing myself, and it screwed with my head because I liked what I saw in the mirror, but the weight wasn't what I was supposed to be. And I refuse to live my life like that. Same as dieting. I refuse to diet. I'm not going to reduce the amount of food that I eat or stop eating the foods that I love because I want to weigh a certain way, I want to have a certain body fat percentage. Yes, I want to look and feel good, but I want to have a healthy, fit, strong body that burns up everything that I put into it. And the only thing that does that is muscle. So if I lose muscle, then I have a slower metabolism. And there's two things to that. I have a slower base metabolic rate, which is how many calories my body needs to survive doing nothing. I want that to be high, so that means I need to maintain. I can't build more muscle, I'm a woman, but I want to maintain the muscle that I was given so that I maintain a high base metabolic rate. But then your metabolism, which is how many calories you're burning at the moment, I want that to be fast all the time. Now, the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolic rate. But it also means that you can do things faster because you're stronger, which means then you can be fitter. You can go and, if I have to wash the car, I do it fast. If I vacuum the floor, I do it fast. If I run my dogs, I can do it fast because I'm fit and strong, which means I'm constantly burning calories really fast. I have a giggle in winter because yes, I've got this big coat on to come into the gym, but in about 5 minutes after I start training or less, I'm back into singlet and shorts because when you exercise, you get really hot. Now in summer, I've got to be careful because I'll rephrase that. In summer, I just live my life. In winter, I've got to be careful because when I'm cold, I exercise even harder. So every time I feel cold, I punch the bag, jump, squat, sprint on the spot, run up a hill. So I have this constantly fast metabolism in the winter time. So I don't want to look old for the summertime when I'm wearing shorts and a singlet. So I've got to be really aware. And I'll just share that as a very personal, fun side note. I have a pair of trousers that are I bought them when I was 18 years of age for my very first career interview to manage a health club. And I still have those trousers, I still wear them, but they're a great gauge, they're a great measure because I change size from hydration or eat too much or don't eat enough. But the pants don't change size. And to be able to wear the same pair of trousers as when I was 18 is a very cool thing. But if those pants are too loose, I eat more food. I don't want to be thin because when you're as old as I am, when you get thin, you look really old. And I don't want to be chubby either, so those pants are a really good test. And I'm sharing that with you because isn't that far more effective, trying on an article of clothing that doesn't change size, than weighing yourself? I don't want to be dehydrated, so I don't want to be light from less water. I don't want to lose any muscle tissue, so I don't want to be light from losing muscle. Again, as a side note for that, all of the current weight loss drugs, most of the weight that you lose comes from muscle. So yes, you are thinner, you are definitely thinner, but you have a much slower metabolism, which means you have to stay on those things for the rest of your life. And a lot of people say, I don't care. I will stay on those things for the rest of my life. But when you lose muscle, you lose your ability to do stuff. You don't have as much energy. You feel tired and lethargic. You can't do things fast. Your body doesn't work effectively when you lose muscle tissue. If you go from a V8 engine to a two-stroke engine, you can't go as fast, you can't do as much, your life isn't as exciting. So I don't want to lose any muscle at all, which means I don't want to weigh light on the scales. So I don't weigh myself. I'm very aware, however, of how much energy I've got. I'm very aware of how strong I am. And if I'm not getting stronger in the gym, and I'll rephrase that again, as a very old lady, I'm not lifting heavier weight. I just want to make sure that I can lift the same weight that I was lifting when I was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I want to be able to keep lifting that weight. So my goal is to be 120, barring accident or bad luck, live longer than that if possible, but be still living my life exactly the way that I am now. Healthy, fit, strong, lean, energetic, loving my life, being able to do all the things that I want to do. So why is it, obviously it doesn't matter what Rowie does, but I'm asking you this very personal question. Why do you want to lose weight? If that's your goal, why do you want to weigh less on a scale? Why not ask yourself the very important questions? Do I want a stack of energy? Do I want to perform at my best? Do I want to love what I see in the mirror and love the way my body feels to touch? And am I getting the results that I want from my eating and exercise plan? And if you've lost weight, you might say, yes, I weigh less on the scales, but I'm going to ask the question again, and then what? So I weigh 60 kilos now, then what? Are you going to stay that way for the rest of your life? That's going to fluctuate. Every time you go to the toilet and do number 2, you change weight. Every time you have a glass of water, you change weight. Every time you eat food, you change weight. If you grow your hair, you change weight. If you are a bloke and you put on muscle size, you're going to be heavier. You're also going to be leaner because you've got a faster metabolic rate. So they're all the questions that I'm constantly asking because I live in a world like you do where people are obsessed with losing weight or they just don't care and the world's getting fatter and fatter and fatter and sicker and weaker and more diseased and it's like, well, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because I don't want our kids to live in a world like that. You can live however you want to, of course. But if you are a parent, a teacher, coach, boss, leader, I work with a lot of kids now. I love them. Other people's children are just gorgeous to me. And I want to be the living, breathing example of a healthy, fit, strong, old lady. I don't want to be sick in the winter. I hear that all the time. I always get sick in winter. Well, you don't have to get sick in winter. If you've got a strong immune system, your immune system's built inside your bones. If you've got strong muscles pulling on your bones, so that's big, heavy muscles pulling on big, heavy bones, then you will have a strong immune system which can fight germs and bugs and viruses. And somebody said to me just recently, I always get a cold in winter, I always get sick in winter, I always get a flu in winter. Well, if you say that, you will. You've just told yourself that you will. If I tell myself if I wear a red t-shirt, I'm going to have a sore foot, every time I wear a red t-shirt, I'm going to have a sore foot because I've told myself that's going to happen. So that's why I do the opposite. I'm healthy, fit, strong, lean, energetic. I love my life and I live my life to the max. That's my vocabulary every day. I live my life to the max. Super duper doo, how are you? Living my life to the max. Woohoo!